I know how it is. You're stuck in the rat race, you're on the verge of burning out in corporate, and you decide, I know what to do. I'll start my own business. That way I get to own my own time, make my own money, and create my own destiny. It sounds like a great idea on paper, doesn't it? Though there's three fundamental mindset blocks that are going to keep you stuck in that very same overwhelm that you think you're going to get away from when you leave the corporate world. How do I know this? Because I've done it. I started out my business because I wanted to get out of that overwhelming corporate. And in under 3 years, I was back in that same emotional space. And why? Because I had subscribed to three fundamental lies that I'm going to encourage you to just press the unsubscribe button to. The first one is you got to do it all alone. That was me, making my appointments, making my content. Eventually, after I'd built a couple of websites, which was not my core business, of course, I was willing to hire a website developer. But for the rest of it, I was intent on doing it all alone. I had subscribed to that story that said, you should be able to do it alone in the beginning. You need to bootstrap this thing. Until it's making money, you don't get to spend money. And all of those stories that just kept me stuck, not doing what I loved, which was coaching and helping people, and sitting behind the scenes, behind a computer, and not actually securing any more revenue. It just led to me feeling worse about myself and, of course, increased my stress levels because now I was responsible for revenue that wasn't coming in. So I had to figure out how to unsubscribe from that belief system. And eventually I was able to hire a PA for myself. When I hired that PA, the first thing I said to her was, your first and foremost job is to protect me from me. And the reason for that was number two. I had subscribed to the whole hustle culture notion that I had to say yes to every client, that saying no was turning away business, that resting was being lazy, that celebrating was a waste of time. And that's what put me in the position of burnout in the first place, way back then, and then put me back there again in my own business. And that was my instruction to her. You need to be the one to protect me. And I gave her strict instructions to say no if my diary was full, because I recognized that I was still stuck in the grips of that terrible narrative that I had subscribed to. And the only way that I could subscribe to that was to get somebody else to stand in as proxy for me until I had done the mindset work that made it possible for me to start saying no and to start protecting my peace of mind. The third thing that I had subscribed to that you may also be subscribed to right now is the allure of course after course after course. After several months of not drawing in revenue, that next course that promises how to teach you how to make all this money in a very short space of time looks very alluring. And before you know it, you're knee deep in course after course after course, and nothing's changed in your business. Why? Because learning is not the same as implementation. And I can tell you that you probably know enough to do your job. You know how to do what you do. That's why you're an entrepreneur. You need something different. Maybe you need accountability. Maybe you need a mindset shift. Maybe you need a coach who's going to hold your hand and uncover exactly what your specific blocks are. Because here's what I know to be true. Business principles are the same wherever you go. Doesn't matter what business you're in, what business structure you're in, business principles are business principles. You have an offer of a service or a product, you need to tell as many people as possible and then enroll them into purchasing your service or product. That's business. There's nuances depending on each industry that you're in, though at the end of the day, it's not about skills. It's not about strategy. It's not about course after course after course. Yes, those things are important. But here's two fundamental things that you cannot live without if you're going to start a business of your own. One of those is mindset. The thing that differentiates us entrepreneurs from those who do and those who don't have success is not that they know more. It's not that they have more strategy. How many times have you watched someone who you know isn't as skilled as you are in your field, and yet they have more success in their own business than you do? And the difference there is mindset. And it's important to identify and understand that your decisions, your behaviors, the way that you are interfacing with your business, with your customers, with your life right now, is a direct result of the stories, narratives, and beliefs that you have programmed into your brain since you were a child for the most part. Until you are able to get in underneath those and rewire your own brain, because these stories are not just ideas that float around, they actually have a clear pathway sitting in the hardware of your brain. And until you can get underneath those and rewire your brain for success, you will never implement any course that you have signed up for. You're not going to hold yourself accountable for the success. And my guess is you're going to keep playing small until you undo those narratives that you've had before. How do I know? Been there, done that. And the second thing that you cannot live without, and again, this has a basis in neuroscience, is being plugged into a community of people who are going where you're going, and a mixed group of people, some of whom are more successful than you. Why? Because the human brain is wired for connection, and we derive our identity from the feedback we get from the people around us. The expression, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, it has an actual basis in neuroscience. This is how our brains work. And if you are determined to be the lone wolf and not collaborate or not link in with the community, you're going to find it a very lonely, if not impossible, journey. So the 3 best things that I can say to you are: number 1, get yourself a coach, or better yet, join the Freedom Collective, where you'll have coaching and a community. And then we will overlay skills and strategies on top of your value system and with your renewed mindset. When you join the Freedom Collective, you're going to have an identity shift, you'll have a mindset shift. The strategies and skills and systems that you use will be directly aligned with exactly who you are and the way you want to change your life. And I assure you, you will be supported by a community of the most wonderful, inspiring, empowering women that you can ever hope to meet. So if you are stuck in overwhelm, first of all, hit that unsubscribe button to those beliefs about going it alone, courses solve everything, and the hustle culture. Just unsubscribe. You're allowed to unsubscribe. Take a rest, have a cup of tea, and then think about joining us in the Freedom Collective so we can nurture you back to that dream that you had when you started out your business wanting to change the world in the first place.